let's start. So today's focus or agenda is going to be how to convert online buyer leads. Do a better job of that, maybe at a higher level. We talked about this a couple of weeks back, and I know some of you, like you, Eric, and then also Tracy, and then Quentin. I think soon we'll start working with online buyer leads. Okay, as well as Veronica. Veronica, good morning.
Good morning.
So all of you are going to be working with the online buyer leads. And what do we do in terms of making sure that we're working with them, we're nurturing them, and converting them ideally at a high level, so nothing is falling through the cracks. So I wanted to start by asking you, what is the value proposition that we offer to the buyer right now? Let's say, for example, you're meeting with the buyer for the first time, or you're getting a sign call, or you're getting an online buyer lead, or it's maybe part of one of your SOI. What is your value proposition to that buyer? Anyone? What are you offering to the buyers?
Experience.
Experience, okay. Experience, that's great. Experience is a very general word, if you will.
True.
You kind of like elaborate on that when you say by experience.
Well, with me, I usually try to, I just let them know, just more of my character. So, you got someone that's going to be working their ass off, all, for them 100%. I'm not gonna take any shortcuts. I'm gonna, I'm available to them as much as possible. Of course, I give my limits on when not to contact me, but and it also depends on what kind of client. I have a client that is a VIP in a different country that comes down here every year to buy property. So I definitely make myself more available to him when necessary. But it's just I'm going to put their needs in front of mine. So just the availability to me.
Okay, so what you're saying is flexibility, essentially working around their schedule, right? Especially for those VIP buyers.
Yes.
Okay. Your knowledge and expertise, right?
Right.
Your ability to guide them through the process, right? And what else?
Knowledge of your market.
Knowledge of the market, okay. So let me share the slide with you guys right now and tell me what you think. And a lot of the stuff you already mentioned. You see it? So guiding them through the home buying process, right? I think that's important because you're going to have buyers that are first-time home buyers and they're not really familiar with the home buying process.
Right.
Their home buying process is like, okay, can we go start looking for homes? That's it, right? So we got to take a step back. We got to sit down with them. We need to find out a little bit more about their plans, about their needs versus wants. We need to definitely introduce them to our strategic partners, whether it's going to be a lender, whether it's going to be a home inspector, a termite inspector, anyone that will help them in making their job more efficient, more productive in finding a home. How about fiduciary, guys? Fiduciary is a big word. If you are a listing agent and you're representing a seller and you have a buyer that contacts you and wants to write an offer on your listing and they do not have representation, do you have a fiduciary to them, to that buyer? like a complete fiduciary, like loyalty, confidentiality, disclosure, obedience, reasonable care, and accounting. Do you have that?
You have that to the seller, correct?
Correct. But you don't have that to the buyer.
Won't be limited.
Correct.
It's going to be a limited, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So fiduciary is a very big word, and a lot of buyers don't really get that. They don't really understand that, and because of that, they don't really value it. But I think a lot of agents don't really truly lead with fiduciary. How many of you, when you're talking to your buyers or sellers, tell them about the fiduciary or explain to them the meaning of being fiduciary to them? These are big, big,
To an
big.
extent,
The what?
I do to an extent without really using the word fiduciary, but of course, letting them know, what my job is for them.
Exactly. So your job is, I mean, these are huge, huge responsibilities, like loyalty, right? That's a big one. Keeping things confidential. That's a huge one. I see this all the time. I hear this all the time, even from some of our agents. Like they share some confidential information about their clients. I was like, oh my gosh, like you don't do that. Right?
Exactly.
How about disclosure? How about disclosure? I had a listing appointment a couple of days ago, and my client, he replaced a pipe from his house going to the public sewer. Okay, and he spent $9,000 on it, and he's asking me, Alan, should I disclose it? Absolutely, you disclose that. Any material facts, you have to disclose it. And you, being a buyer's agent, if you come across a material fact, it has to be disclosed to your client, to your buyer. Reasonable care, accounting, right? When they give you that earnest deposit, what is your job? Your job is to give it to the designated broker, right? Technically. Or have the title and escrow company to pick it up and deposit it. Well, I mean, that's an accounting piece of it, right? You want to make sure that you take care of their money, their finances. So fiduciary is a big, big, big word. And that's something that we constantly have to let them know that, hey, you know what? We got a fiduciary to you. That means loyalty. That means confidentiality, disclosure, obedience, reasonable care, as well as accounting. How about negotiating, guys? Like, especially right now, the way the market is, I mean, it's lopsided. It's towards the sellers, right? But they still need you more than ever to negotiate to make sure you get the possible best terms for them. For negotiating deals. Protecting their interests. Making sure to have the best terms and conditions in place when it comes to the contracts. How about finding homes outside of MLS? Like you're going to be talking to the online buyers right now that some of them are getting really discouraged because one day they looked at the property and it's there, it's active, the next minute or the next hour, it's already gone, it's under contract. So what happens in those cases? You will have buyers like that are really getting disappointed, getting kind of discouraged, getting defeated. So we have to find them homes outside of MLS. Where do we find homes outside of MLS?
New home construction.
New home construction, that's one. What else?
Look at for sale by owner.
For sale by owner, what else?
You could door knock.
Door knock, that's three. What else?
Coming soon.
Coming soons. Okay, where else?
Utilizing your relationships with other agents.
That's number five. What else? How about old expireds from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? All cancels. The people that never sold their house because the market was not as hot. How about maybe writing a letter to a neighborhood and letting them know that you have a qualified buyer that willing to pay a top dollar for the house and work around the seller's or homeowner's schedule. You know, so by you just mentioning 5 or 6 strategies right there, all of them viable, why not mention those strategies to a buyer that is looking to buy in a certain price range and they're just hitting the wall, they cannot find anything that's going to be a good fit for them. So when you're talking to the online buyer, for instance, that says, well, you know what, I just cannot find anything that I like, or everything that I like goes under contract, well, share these 5 or 6 strategies with them. By the way, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, one thing that differentiates us from other agents out there is our ability and our access to the properties that are currently not active on MLS. We have access to properties through old expireds, for sale by owners, door knocking, agents in our firm. We're sending out letters to the neighborhood, especially if you're interested in a specific neighborhood, coming soon listings, pocket listings that may be a good fit for you. Is that something you would be open to? Is that something you would be interested in? What do you think their response is going to be like? Hell yeah, I am interested. Great. When would be a great time for us to sit down and really put together a plan in place so we can then go and find you that perfect home? Would weekdays or weekends work for you better? So now you have someone that says, oh my gosh, I'm working with an agent that actually thinks outside of the box. I'm working with an agent who can get me a house outside of MLS. I'm working with an agent who is willing to go an extra step to help me with my real estate needs. Imagine what kind of value proposition you're bringing to the table right there. How about helping them with the prices? I mean, especially right now, helping them with the comps. Decide on the comps. And then, and I put this, you know, showing homes right here. Obviously, every buyer wants to go out there and show homes. But the question is, how do you show homes? Like, I saw agents showing homes and they just open the door, let the buyer in. They have no idea about that home. They have no idea about that neighborhood. They don't know what was done to that property. And that's it. I mean, you know, their question will be like, oh, do you like the house? Oh, yeah, I do like, great. Or I don't like the house. Okay, great. Well, let's go and see another one. What we got to do, especially the agents on this call that looking to build teams, is we want to make sure that our agents know about the property as much as possible. Research about the house as much as possible. Research about the community as much as possible. Have a conversation with the listing agent. Find out, you know, what it will take to get the deal done. Find out if there's any flexibility in the price. Find out what was done to the house in the last couple of years. And then what I do is every time I show a house, I ask the buyer what they liked and what they didn't like. Who does that? The reason I do that is because this way, 2 things. Number one, I want to gauge really what they actually focus on. And number 2, if let's say what they don't like is just minor little things that can be actually solved or figure it out, I will then ask them a follow-up question by saying, hey guys, assuming we can fix these little items or take care of these items that you're concerned about, do you feel like this is going to be a home for you? Do you want to write an offer on it? Yeah, absolutely. Great. Well, let me talk to the listing agent. Let me see if we can get these things solved. And then let me see if we can write an offer on it. Sounds good? Absolutely. So now we're writing an offer on a house where before I asked those questions, they were not sure about. But by solving these little problems, right, now we're in position to get the offer written. So you as a buyer's agent, when you're working with the online buyer leads, there's a lot that you can offer them in addition to just showing homes. And when you're having the conversation with these individuals, okay, a lot of times they don't really truly understand the true value of what you can offer them. And it's our job to convey that value to them. It's our job to bring that value into the spotlight. That's during the phone calls as well as during our initial meetings. Okay? So how do we actually address or propose or convey this information to them during our initial phone call? Because here's what happens most of the time. Most of the online buyer leads are not expecting your phone call. They're not. They're not. If you think for a reason they're just sitting there and waiting for Eric to call them, I don't know, maybe Eric, maybe they're expecting Eric to call them, you know, but most of the time they are not expecting our phone calls. So what we have to do on our end is we have to be creative, we have to get their attention, and we have to be able to extend the conversation where we're going to be able to build a necessary rapport or connection with them, so then they can give us an opportunity to either continue to follow up with them or ideally to book a meeting, to schedule a meeting. So I have a script that my team uses, and I'm sharing this script with you guys. I will share this with you. You can share it with your teams, with your agents. This is the script that I've been using for several years. I personally put together the script. This is something that I use when I'm calling online buyer leads, okay? It's a very simple script, but it works. It works. Like with every script, what you want to do is you want to learn it, you want to memorize it, you want to internalize it, and if you wish, make it your own. If you choose to, make it your own. Use a different verbiage, okay, if that's something that you want. But first and foremost, you want to learn it, you want to memorize it, and you want to internalize it. So let's say, for example, you have an online buyer lead and they register under your website. You're excited. You call that lead, okay? Ideally, you want to call it right away because you're going to catch them when they act. If they join your website and you get a ping, you get a notification, that means they're still on your website. That means they're still in that tunnel vision, if you will, looking or browsing different homes. That means they'll be more receptive having a conversation with you now versus when you call them an hour or 2 or 3 hours later and they're doing something else, like doing laundry or cooking dinner for their kids. So if you get a lead, if you're in position to call that lead, try to do it right away. Okay? So what we do is, the first thing is we get their attention by asking for their name with a question mark. John. John? Yeah, hi, who's this? Hey, John, this is Alan with, and I usually put the name of the website. So if your website, Eric, is whatever name you have, Tracy, the same thing with you, right? Your website, let's say phoenixhomesearch.com, you put that as the name of the website. You can then continue with saying best homes, but you definitely want to go with the website name because they are familiar with your website name. They're not really truly familiar with your brokerage name yet. So when you introduce yourself with your brokerage name strictly, they will not know, right? They cannot really make that correlation, that connection yet. So go start with your website name first. Okay? You continue. You got their attention right now. You continue. Well, first of all, John, thank you so much for joining our website. I hope so far it's meeting your expectations. Smiley face. And again, when I mean smiley face, like you gotta enjoy that conversation, okay? Like you gotta be energetic, you gotta sound happy, you gotta sound ecstatic, you gotta sound genuine, right? You gotta have that energy. And second, John, I notice you've been browsing, or you can use the word looking, for homes in city or cities. And where do you get this information, guys? Where do you get this information?
Be on your website.
It'll be on your website, right? So if you go on this search right here, you see it? Surprise, Phoenix, Tempe, Phoenix, Peoria, Scottsdale, Sun City West, Phoenix. Shit, look at this. I mean, we got a $6 million house right here. $4.5 million house. So yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to see if they're looking, in a specific city. So, John, and a second thing, I just, notice you've been browsing for homes in Phoenix, right? Is Phoenix where you're currently living or planning to move to? Is Phoenix the place where you're currently living, or you're planning to move to Phoenix? What is it? So why do we ask that question? If we ask that question, if you're currently living or planning to move to Phoenix, right? It's an open-ended question. It will generate a response, typically from my experience, a response that says, yeah, you know what? We're planning to move to Phoenix. Then my follow-up question is, oh, okay. If I may ask, where do you currently live? Well, I live in Goodyear. Okay, so what's bringing you to Phoenix? What's moving you to Phoenix? By asking that question, now you're trying to get their what? Their motivation, right? Their motivation. Oh, I just want to be closer to my job. I want to be closer to my office. Or I want to be closer to the school where my kids go to, a private school. Whatever the reason, by you asking that question, what's taking you to Phoenix? What's moving you to Phoenix? All right, you're going to get a response back where they say, you know what? This is the reason why. That's the motivation. So that's going to be about 50% of the time where they're going to tell you, oh yeah, I'm planning to move because X, Y, and Z. The other 50%, this is what you're going to get. I'm just looking, or I'm just browsing, or I'm not ready. So when you hear that, by the way, how many of you use this objection when you go to the store? Most of us, right? Right. So like, I before COVID, I used to do a lot of shopping, clothes shopping, and I'm not a big fan of clothes shopping, but when I do, I either drive down to Biltmore or Fashion Square Mall, right, Scottsdale. And I live right here on 83rd Avenue and Deer Valley. So it takes me anywhere between half an hour to sometimes 40 minutes with the traffic. So I get ready, you know, I drive out down there, I park my car, I go inside of the store, and the sales rep will ask me, can I help you? And my first reaction is what? Oh, I'm just looking. I'm just looking. Why? Because the first thing I want to do is what? I want to see what's out there, what's available, if there's anything that actually going to pique my interest. Now, after looking and seeing the fact that I would need some help, then I would ask for help. Hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Do you have this in this size? It's the same thing with house shopping. Their number one reaction, their first reaction is going to be, hey, I am just looking, I'm just browsing, leave me alone. And we cannot take that, you know, too seriously. We cannot take that as a rejection. We cannot take that as a sign that they're not interested in our services. It just means that that's the first thing that they're going to tell you. I'm just looking, leave me alone. Especially the ones that you're calling that maybe joined our website 3 hours ago or 3 days ago or 3 weeks ago. They're just looking for now. They don't know you. Essentially what you're doing is you're cold calling them. So their guard is going to be up. It's not going to be down. So how do we handle this objection in a way where not only we explain to them, hey, you know, it's normal to look, but also at the same time, offer them some sort of a value, bring them some sort of value to the table. So this is the response that I use. Okay. The first thing is always come back every time you hear an objection, whether it's I'm just looking or browsing, I have to sleep on it, I have to pray on it, I'm working with a realtor, I'm not ready right now. Always come with empathy. Start with empathy. Hey, you know what? I completely understand. Smiley face. As a matter of fact, I work with a lot of buyers that are just looking or just browsing, but ultimately ended up buying from us. But before I let you go, let me at least help you to customize your home search so the properties you're receiving daily completely match your exact criteria. Would you like that? Or would that be okay with you? So we start with the empathy. We continue with commonality. So basically we're telling them we work with a lot of other buyers that did exactly the same thing that they did and ended up buying. And then we end with the value prop. Here's the phrase that you want to use every single time when you want to extend the conversation. How many times you heard this? Hey, before I let you go. Hey, before I let you go. Before I let you go. You can extend the conversation by another 4, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes by just using this 2 or 3 times. Hey, before I let you go. Hey, before I let you go. Let me at least help you to customize your home search so the properties that you're going to be receiving are actually matching your criteria. So if somebody offers you something like that, Tracy, what would be your immediate reaction?
I guess I would let them help me set it up. So I wasn't wasting my time. I would think that they were willing to help me even if they're not trying to sell me something right now.
Are we trying to sell them anything?
No, we're trying to help them.
We're trying to help them, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to help them. Are we trying to tell them, hey, I'm the best real estate agent in the world? No, right?
No.
Doing that, right? Am I telling them that we're the best brokerage in the world? We're the best website in the world? We have the best commissions in the world? No, right? All we're doing is we're trying to help them. So this way they're not wasting their time. So this way, the properties that they're going to be receiving are actually going to be meeting their requirements. It's a concierge service. Okay, so by presenting it this way, a bulk of the buyers, okay, going to say, oh yeah, that would be great. Absolutely. You're also, unfortunately, going to have people that will not see the value in that or say, you know what, I'm not interested. I'm good. Thanks. You get that. So in that case, okay, what you want to do is like, oh, that's cool. I completely understand. Well, I appreciate your time. When can I follow up with you? When can I follow up with you? Well, call me in about 6 months. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Before I let you go, and if I may ask, or if you don't mind sharing it with me, what has to happen between now and 6 months from now in order for you guys to be ready? Okay? Why do I ask this question? Anyone?
That you're trying to probe to get some information to see what is actually restricting them from making a decision now.
Correct. What is holding them back? What is stopping them? Or like you said, Eric, what is restricting them from moving forward right now? This is a money question. This question right here, every time somebody gives you 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, this is the question that you have to follow up with by asking, hey, I completely understand, but please help me understand, or if I may ask, or if you don't mind sharing with me, right? What has to happen between now and 6 months from now in order for you guys to be ready to buy a home? So here are some possible responses. Possible response is going to be, I need to come up with some money. Cool. Our response, we offer down payment assistance. Possible response, I need to work on my credit. Cool. Our lenders can help you with fixing your credit. Their response, I'm currently renting. We need to really find out a little bit more about if they have a long-term lease or they're month to month. Okay, but let's say they have a long-term lease. Our response, well, let me ask you this. If we can find you a perfect house, great location, and a price, can you get out of your lease? Typically, if you are with a landlord that does not use a property management company, landlords will be more open in letting you out by just keeping the security deposit. Why? Because they can probably rent it out for 5 or 10% more now. But you have to ask this question in order to find out what's really holding them back. Another one can be, hey, I need to sell my house. I need to fix it up first and I need to sell it. Well, this is a great opportunity for you to bring value when it comes to the contractors. Handyman. Or offer them a complete price analysis of their home, a CMA. Okay. Any other possible responses you guys are getting from the buyers nowadays? I have one in mind that is not here. I cannot find a home. I can't find my next home. Like I can't. There's nothing available. Right? Or like, for instance, you have sellers who want to sell their house, but you just can't find anything that they like. So if they tell you, I can't find my perfect home, right, in my price range, what do we do in that situation? How do we respond?
We ask them what their perfect home looks like and then let them know we have ways to find a home that aren't necessarily available to them to see.
Going back to our value proposition, right? You know, I say, hey, you know, again, using empathy, you know, I completely understand your frustration right now. You know, we're working with a couple of buyers kind of in a similar situation that you're in. If I may ask, what is your budget for your next home? Well, we're hoping to stay at around 400,000. Okay. And how did you come up with that price point? Well, we really don't want to spend more than about $2,000 a month for a mortgage. Okay. And if I'm asked, what are you paying right now? Well, we're paying at around $1,500. And you currently renting or you own a house? Well, we own a house. Okay. And do you prefer to sell it before you buy, or for you, you just want to buy first and then figure out what you want to do with the house? No, we have to sell it, I believe. So you want to sell your house? Yes. Do you have a price in mind? Well, you know, we had somebody who appraised it about a year ago, and they said, oh, we can get about $340 for it. A year ago. Well, you know, a lot of things have changed in the last year. In fact, you probably know this. The market is on fire. It's a seller's market. There's a shortage of active homes on MLS. In fact, I checked this morning, there were only 6,000 single-family homes on the market in Maricopa County. We're supposed to be at around 15, maybe possibly 16,000 homes. And you probably would get more for your home right now than you were planning to about a year ago. Would you be interested in us providing a complete price analysis of your home, very similar to what the appraiser would offer you, but without you paying $400 or $500 for an appraisal fee? Is that something you would be open to? Yeah, absolutely, sure. Great. When would be a good day for me to swing by, take a look at it? And also while I'm there, we can talk about your new home. I can customize a home search for you. And also, you know, if there's certain things that you got to do around the house to maybe improve the showing condition of your home and maybe possibly increasing the value of your home without spending that much money, I can give you some advice and some feedback on that as well. Is that cool? Is that okay? Yeah, great. Awesome. Would weekdays or weekends work for you better? Well, we work on the week during the weekdays. How about weekends? Great. Would Saturday or Sunday work for you better? Well, Saturday works for us the best. Mornings or afternoons? Afternoons. I have a 2 o'clock and I also have 4 o'clock. Which one is better for you? How about 2 o'clock? Great. Am I going to be meeting just you or your husband or your wife? Oh, both of us. My husband's name is Steve. Awesome. Boom. You just booked an appointment. And you're bringing value to the table. Not only are you going to help them with the purchase of their home, but you're also going to sell their house. You're going to give them a complimentary price analysis of their home. You're going to give them some tips and pointers on the things that they may want to do around the house to improve the showing condition, maybe possibly increase the value of the home without spending that much money. And then you're going to create a custom home search for them. Okay. None of this would happen, by the way, if you would not ask this question. Again, I'm going back to this question. You got to ask this question. And don't be afraid to ask that question. You will have some people that will be short with you. You have some people that would, kind of almost kind of give you that impression that they're annoyed. They're not happy with your call. It's nothing personal. If you're not helping them, guess what? Somebody else will. Simple. There are over 40,000 agents out there, and you're not the only website that they joined, that they're registered. So if you're just going to say, okay, all right, sorry, and then say, you know what, she was a rude, she was a bitch. Well, guess what? All of us can be rude sometimes. All of us can be bitches. Well, I'm just, not good sometimes when it comes to other people. Sometimes you just have bad moments. That's okay. It's life. It doesn't mean that's going to happen next time. So when you're getting this right here and you offer your value prop and they still say no, say, hey, you know what? That's okay. I completely understand. When can I follow up with you next time? Call me in 6 months. Okay, all right, awesome. I appreciate that. Before I let you go, please help me understand what has to happen between now and 6 months from now in order for you guys to be ready. So this way, I don't keep bugging you. Well, we need to sell my home, or we need to fix my credit, or we need to come up with a down payment, or we need to find our perfect home. Whatever the reason, now you know the reason. Okay, any questions about this online buyer intro script right here? Do you feel this is something going to benefit you guys when you're calling online buyer leads? Wonderful. So there's a continuation, but these are some open-ended questions that you can, again, utilize during your conversation with the buyer. Okay. Like, for example, determining the price. How much house can they really afford? Hey, I see you were searching between 200 and 250 range. Is that your price range? How did you come up with that price? Have you been communicating with the lender or a mortgage company? What is your budget? A lot of these buyers are in the early stages of home buying process, and they have no idea what they can buy. They're basing their decision on what they're willing to pay on a monthly basis. So right now, if let's say their budget is $1,500 a month, how much house can they buy by having $1,500 a month mortgage?
Depends on the interest rate, but roughly around 270.
Let's say the interest rate is 3%. What are we looking at?
Probably about 300.
Yeah, around 330,000. Around 330,000. I mean, that's a lot of house. So they're not thinking that way. They're probably thinking, well, I probably want to buy a 250 or 260. No, you can go and buy a $330,000 house. And if the rates continue to drop, I mean, right now, my gosh, I mean, 2.8, 2.7,
I got a buyer that's closing on Friday at 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. 2.5. I mean, this is, let's see if I can pull it up. Mortgage calculator. Okay, $330,000 purchase at 2.5, 30-year fix, principal and interest, $1,300. $330,000 house they can buy with 2.5% interest rate, fixed, $1,300, principal and interest. Property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA, let's say another 200, 250. We're looking at around 1,550. I mean, that's cheaper than renting a 2-bedroom apartment near my office, by the way. And the rent's been going up since 2008, 2009. I mean, in the last year, they went up by about 6.5%. So the rents are keep going up. So it makes more sense for you to buy, right? Okay, motivation. Why are they moving? Okay, remember we asked the question, hey, what's bringing you to Phoenix? What's bringing you to Phoenix? We want to know why they're moving. Motivation is very, very critical. It's very important. Okay, is it a job? Is it a school? Is it a neighborhood? Okay, or what do you like about this home? If they are looking for a specific home that they looked at maybe 4 or 5 times. Well, we like the fact that we have 4 bedrooms. I like the fact that there's a pool in the back. I like the fact that there's an RV gate. It's a 3-car garage. We don't have that in our house right now. Motivation. Time frame. When can they move in? Just out of curiosity, how soon do you want to be in your new home? Another way of asking the question is like, if you were to move realistically, when do you think that might be? Are you folks planning to make a move in the next 2 to 4 months? So you can use any question that you want, but these are like 3 different questions you can ask them to get the same type of an answer. Another question to ask is during your conversation, and typically this is something that you want to do at the end after you feel like you were able to develop a rapport with them and their guard is much more down than it was initially, is to ask them if they have somebody who's helping them with the real estate. Right? And the way I usually ask those questions, like, hey, by the way, how long you guys been looking for a new home? Or how many homes have you seen inside so far? Just out of curiosity, are you currently working with anyone? Is there somebody who's helping you? Like a real estate agent? I usually do not ask this question. If they're having conversation with you, that means there's a good chance that they're not working with an agent. But it's up to you though. But you want to really ask subtly in a way where it's like, you don't want to ask, do you have an agent? Are you working with an agent? Right away, right off the bat. Because here's what's going to happen. They're going to treat that question and respond with an objection. They're going to respond with the objection. What we want to do is we want to subtly ask that question at the end of our conversation to kind of like, by the way, just to make sure, right? Do you have anybody who's helping you with this? Like with, showing you homes. Okay. The same thing with the mortgage. Oh, by the way, are you guys going to be paying cash or you're going to be financing? Well, we're going to be financing. Okay, cool. I get that. Are you currently working with anybody? Are you currently working with a mortgage company to help you with your financing? No. We're just kind of started looking, and we really don't have anybody in mind. Okay, would you be open in me connecting you or introducing you to one of our preferred lenders? Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome. That's another value proposition that you're bringing to the table. Okay. And this is the closing right here. ABC, always be closing. ABC, always been closing. And this is something that you want to definitely do when you feel like you can bring value, when you feel like they are receptive to your questions, they need your help. Okay, you definitely want to set up an appointment to meet with them, because it's hard to get their business just over the phone. You got to have that face-to-face interaction, whether it's done physically in the office or in the restaurant or at the house or via Zoom. But it's got to be done where you actually set a meeting and have that conversation with them. And remember, we have 3 stages of buyer consultation. The first stage is continue building a rapport. The second stage is doing an actual deck or presentation, reiterating all the value proposition that you're going to be providing them. And then the third stage is getting their commitment to work with you. So here's how you end the conversation and get a meeting set, okay? So you say, you know what, John, based on information you've given me, here's what I recommend we do. Let's set up a time together to go over your home buying process, do a complete market overview. I'll customize the search for you, okay? And if time permits, I would like to show you a couple of houses that we'll come up with. Is that okay? Does that sound good? Yeah, absolutely. Great. Would weekdays or weekends work for you better? Okay. Based on information you've given me, John, here's what I recommend we do. Let's set up a meeting, or let's get together when I can walk you through the entire home buying process, introduce you to my lender, create a custom search for you. And if time permits, if you're cool with that, I would like to show you a couple of houses that I have in mind for you. Does that work? Would that work for you? So again, we're bringing value to the table. We're not just saying, hey, let's just set up a meeting, because John's going to be thinking, why am I going to be meeting her or him? By bringing value, hey, we're going to go over the home buying process. I'll introduce you to my lender. If they have a house to sell, we can do a complete price analysis of the home. Okay. And if time permits, I would like to show you a couple of houses that I have in mind. How does that work for you? How does that sound? Sounds great. Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Would weekdays or weekends work for you better? Okay. So now you got the appointment. So now you got somebody who's you're going to meet with, somebody who's going to sit down with you, share their plans, share their goals, share their challenges, have a conversation with your lender, and now you got them as your client. And that's how you're going to be able to convert these type of leads at the higher level. You got to master this. This is very critical. Because you will have a lot of these buyer leads. They're saying, you know what, like, I'm not interested, or I'm just browsing, I'm just looking, I have a realtor, okay? And if you can't get to the second level with these objections, and this is the second level right here, man, you're gonna be losing a lot of business. And keep in mind, each buyer lead can possibly generate not only one commission check, but multiple commission checks. Because I look at each client for life. I'm looking for each client for the next 30, 40 years. And during that 30, 40 year time frame, they're gonna move at least 2 or 3 times, maybe possibly even 4 times. I'm working with the clients right now that I initially helped in 2014. Since 2014, okay, I sold them, so I generated 11 commissions, 11 transactions with just one buyer, husband and wife. 11. We're talking about in 6 years. So you get a buyer and you close on the deal, and the average price point right now is $330,000, $340,000. That's a $9,000 commission check. And if they also a seller, they're looking to sell, that can be another $8,000 or $9,000 commission check. Right there, we're talking about $16,000, $17,000, $18,000 in gross commission income. That's not including referrals. That's not including you getting leads from the open houses, from the sign calls, from online leads. It can possibly be another 4, 5, 6, 7 transactions. So you got to work these leads diligently. And not all of them are going to be ready to buy now. That's okay. Going back to these leads that we got, here's the time frame. 12 months. But check this out. She's got supposedly pre-qualified. She's not a first-time home buyer, and she's got a house to sell. She's got a house to sell. Pre-qualified, first-time home buyer, no. House to sell, no. Time frame 6 to 12 months. So you're going to have people that are going to be 6 months away, 12 months away, and that's okay. That's where you come back with this question right here. What needs to happen? What has to happen between now and 6 months from now in order for you guys to be ready? Okay? Any questions, guys, before we go? Who wants to get a copy of the script?
I would. I think
Okay.
everyone would.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to share this with everyone then. And again, like I said, again, like with every script, in order for us to be not scripted, if you will, or robotic, we got to learn it. We got to memorize it. We got to internalize it. We got to make it our own. Okay. But if you guys do that with this script and you're going to start working the online buyer leads, I'm telling you, this is going to be a game changer for you. you will close at least one deal a month because of the script alone. And one deal a month at $9,000 gross commission income, that's an additional $100,000 a year. Okay? Any questions?
Alan, for those who missed out on this training, will this also be available on the closed best homes?
Yes, it's recorded.
Perfect, thank you.
It's recorded, yeah. It's recorded. It will be uploaded. Tristan will do it. The same thing on YouTube. He will upload it on YouTube as well. Okay.
All right.
Awesome, guys. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Anna. I appreciate that. For agents that are planning to build teams, you know, you can plug them in to this video right here. And I'm going to be doing the same training probably next month, right? But in the meantime, you're generating leads. Have them watch this video, this recording. Okay.
Be found on YouTube, you said?
Yep.
Okay, that's good, because Kurt just texted me from his office upstairs. Tristan started that ad campaign yesterday. We have 4 Facebook leads already.
Awesome, congrats.
Thank you.
Great.
So we'll need the script like ASAP.
Okay, I'll share the script with you right now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys. Anything else? Eric?
Nothing.
All right. Awesome.
Great, have a good one.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you for your participation. All right, and let's have a great week, okay?
You too.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.